curiosity killed the cat or got the cat, whatever. I'm not dead, so I guess I'm not the cat.
It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margee McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margee McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host.
My dear friend and cranky AF co-host, Ramona Ramirez. Margee, it is great to see you. If anything's going to lift me out of my crank, it's going to be you and discussing this episode.
I mean, here we are, two old farts on our iPads, just like we're really giving it a go. This is 3 weeks in a row that I've been on an iPad, and I feel like maybe I'm finally joining the technology generation. I'm not, because the anxiety I have still around this piece of equipment is so stupid that it's just whatever.
Love it.
I'm a paper girly living in an iPad world, so I'm giving it a go.
God forbid, though, I lose my fucking place and I'm scrolling. I have 10 pages of notes from this episode.
This episode was wild. So we're talking about the Real Housewives of Orange County again this week, and this episode was like fits and starts for me. There were like pieces of it where I was like, snooze, God, oh my God, who cares? And then it was like immediately followed by the most like dense, emotional, hysterical, historical kind of content that we've had yet, possibly.
Truly, I think I texted you the first time I watched it that 10 minutes in, and I was like, holy shit, this is like this could have been a whole episode in itself. But why don't we talk about it?
Let's get into it.
Season 18, Episode 8 of The Real Housewives of Orange County, Once a Traitor, Always a Traitor. How convenient. NBC Universal owns Peacock, owns Bravo, all the IPs covered. Who cares?
Oh,
you know,
God. I mean,
Tamra, though, she's in that, if she's a pig and the traitors realm is a sty, 2 peas in a pod, 2 T's in a, I
sty.
hate that I just
2
can't.
T's in a sty.
Teddi.
Yeah, oddly for me, the traitor stuff was like the absolute least interesting, borderline, like, please, if I were involved in production on this show, I'd be like, cut all of it. Teddi is the opposite of, they talk about like she has it, where you just got to look at her. She is the opposite of it. She's the anti-it. She has none of it. She walked out and I was like, they tried even with like, a commercial break and like cutting back with like lightning over her. And I was like, she's just boring. My friend Drew Droege always says there's a difference between an artist and a technician. And it's like Teddi is a technician. She hits her mark. She says the words, but I'm bored. And then as time goes on, I'm resentful. And I was just like, get her out of here.
I loved, and I am petty. This is not a secret to you or anybody. I am petty. I find humor in like when they rolled the tape to BravoCon 2023 and Vicky's like, what do you mean you asked me where it was January 6th? I was all, I was like, okay, high five, Teddi, high five. And Teddy's just like, what? Anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there.
She has good material, but I'm convinced someone writes it for her, or maybe not. Maybe it's the ultimate tragedy where she really has like a great brain, but like the most lethargic delivery system from her face. I don't know. Even when she said like, welcome housewives and Vicky, I was like, I get it. But also part of me was like, there are no housewives without Vicky. She started this. So like, I get it. But like from you, Teddi?
Right.
Teddi.
While I was getting ready to come do this with you right now, earlier today, I had seen in the Bravo Real Housewives subreddit a little clip from Vicky Gunvalson and Christian Snow Gray's podcast called My Sister, My Soulmate, My Podcast. I know. That
was my eyes rolling for anyone who couldn't hear them moving through my whole skull.
I heard Christian on Ryan Bailey's podcast last week, and I was like, I'm not going to fucking listen to a podcast with Victoria Gunvalson on it. Like, she's everything I cannot tolerate in our country right now. Like, she's politically, she and I are not a match. Lots of reasons we are not a match. But I saw a little snippet today, a little snippet of their podcast on Reddit, and she just gave like a little nugget of the behind the scenes of the Traitors episode. And so I was like, curiosity killed the cat or got the cat, whatever. I'm not dead, so I guess I'm not the cat. I was just curious. I don't know, but I turned it on and it was interesting. And I found myself like, oh God, who would I pick if I had to pick between Tamra or Vicky? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. She infuriated me about 50,000 times, but also I don't know if she dropped like enough tea to like make it worth listening to, but I don't know. If you have nothing to listen to this week and want a little behind the scenes, it's called My Sister, My Soulmate, My Podcast or something. My Friend, My Soulmate, My Podcast, something like that. Anyway, it was intriguing. Yeah, she was just saying that like Tamra called Shannon a see you next Tuesday and they cut it out. But also it wasn't Tamra that invited Vicky. It was production that invited Vicky.
Oh.
They wanted Shannon to have an ally. But yeah, it wasn't like Tamra wasn't the one that was like, oh, I wanted Vicky to. Tamra sounds like as much of a piece of shit as Tamra is in like that what we see. It sounds like she's just as terrible, if not more so, like when they're not on camera.
But I mean,
allegedly,
that's according to Vicky. So it's
according
all like,
to Vicky, right?
I don't
exactly.
believe either one of them.
Jesus
so
Christ,
I don't know
you're
what the
absolutely
truth
right.
is. It's like, because Vicky currently hates Tamra because Tamra did make it seem as though the Tres Amigas was going to get back together. And so I'm sure Vicky's humiliated by like weeping on screen to say like, can we get the band back together? And Tamra made it seem like she was saying yes. And then in her confessional, she said a very direct no. So anyways,
Tamra,
I don't trust anybody.
You're right.
Trust
you're
any
right.
of these
I don't
OC
either.
gals.
But if anyone wants to get all Yenta up in the weeds, like, you know, it was interesting. But first, we are going to talk about Shannon at the car modification garage, where she's getting a breathalyzer installed in her car. And she says that it's good to be reminded of the choice she made. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's a little brief opener with Heather, Emily, Tamra at a dinner.
Oh, I forgot about that.
All Tamra says is that she's going to have this party on Wednesday and that Alexis will not be invited because it's too volatile between Shannon and Alexis right now. And then they all agree not to mention to Shannon that Alexis has threatened to release these Ring camera videos that John Jansen has of her behaving poorly. And that sort of comes up a few times. Oh, and at Tamra, you can just see that she's just relishing in the fact that Shannon is on the verge of a takedown, and it's really unpleasant.
It's disgusting. I don't understand. This is something that Vicky was talking about. She was talking about, and I probably could get back down it. I know we're going to talk about, but there's a scene with Tamra and Sophia later, which would have been relevant. But Vicky says exactly what you and I said last week. Like, if that was my daughter who didn't want to talk to me, I would literally do whatever it fucking took, including quitting this fucking show.
Mm-hmm.
And Tamra hasn't made that choice.
No, and still chooses to see herself as a total victim. So
completely.
Okay.
I'm covering my mouth only because I feel like I like the one thing I hate doing is judging other people's parenting. But Tamra is on TV and we see her abhorrent behavior on TV, in the press, whenever she does whatever, on her podcast. So I guess it's like,
and
I don't know,
man. It's
man.
not about necessarily the way she parents her child. It's about a relationship and how she chooses to prioritize or not prioritize her relationship over her presence on reality TV. So
yeah.
But then, yes, we get to Shannon getting her breathalyzer installed, and we find out that she's purchased a new BMW SUV to replace the one she totaled by driving into a house. This piece got to me a little bit. She explains that there's two options with the DUI. One is your license is suspended for 6 months, and the other is that you can drive, but you have to have this breathalyzer mechanism in your car. And she said that she chose the second option because her girls aren't home to drive her around. And I was like, this is your problem. These are your consequences to manage. We've talked about parentifying before. Like, even if your daughters were at home, they are not responsible for driving your ass around.
Right.
You broke the law. You suffer the consequences. Don't make certainly not your children suffer on your behalf. It really bothered me that she was like, well, because my girls aren't here to drive you around because you got so ripped. You fucking crashed your whole car into a house, backed up, pulled away, and walked your dog. I still, I'm fixated on that sequence of events of like, she did what?
I get it. It makes perfect sense. It sucks, though, that it seems like there's a really high probability for error. If you breathe into this thing wrong, it's like, what?
It seems like a racket to me.
It kind of does. I bet it is.
Because it's so sensitive. The scene was like 15 minutes long of this man explaining to her like the ins and outs of how to breathalyze and that it will randomly ask you to breathe into it while you're driving, which seems like an insane thing. Doesn't that seem like distracted driving? Like if I had to blow hum in the middle of driving when I'm not expecting, like it just seems like this is insane. Just take a fucking Uber.
It seems
and you can take an Uber to the dry cleaner.
I know. That
Shannon,
was ridiculous.
What's your problem?
People do it all the time.
And
I know.
Also they have pickup services. We live in close proximity. There's dry cleaner vans all over the place.
Yep, that's
picking
true.
Up and dropping off.
That's true.
Come on.
That is true. I did have to say that, like when Shannon was talking about like taking responsibility for her actions or whatever, and, she said that sales were going down for real. I thought, at least Shannon has the wherewithal to acknowledge the fact that her name being associated with her product is a detriment. Elon Musk ain't taking his name out of Tesla. And all I know is like, I ain't driving one if there's lots of reasons I'm not going to drive Tesla for the fact that, never mind, no one needs to hear my EV nerdness come out. But is that a difference between like the male ego and the female ego? Like what is that? What is the fact that like Shannon can say like, I want to take my name out. Like, this is not okay. Like, I don't need to take the brand down with my stink. Anyway, just something I thought about.
No, I thought I did appreciate her saying that, another reason she was getting the breathalyzer is to remind her of her stupid choice. And she used the word choice. And I was like, okay, that's like real accountability, real responsibility. But she did say that her DUI affected her real for real business. But then she qualified it by saying, sales were going down before the DUI and now they've stayed the same. And I was like, so it just sounds like your business is in the toilet and maybe this is, not related to the DUI. But like you, I thought I do have hope for Shannon because she's on a path here, because saying something like there's a direct correlation, there's like direct hypocrisy with me claiming that I live a healthy lifestyle and trying to sell things from that brand place. When I drink in excess to the point of causing damage, fortunately only to structures and no soft bodies, but still.
God damn, dude. She was so lucky.
She is so lucky. And I
put
still
it like
don't think
that,
she gets that.
I don't either.
Because she's still bitching about like John Jansen and all this stuff. And it's like, you don't know how. I have a friend who suffered a tremendous loss in his personal life, and he always says, like, I would trade your problems for my problems any day. And I don't think Shannon has any sense of the problems that she avoided in this incident. So she still has, but whatever. She had, a weak tequila soda at that event. So maybe the weak tequila soda really.
Oh, God.
Just don't drink.
Dude.
Just don't. Anyways.
I mean, in Bravo News, like when you said John Jansen, John and Alexis got engaged between last week's podcast and this week's podcast.
And I'll be honest, they look really happy. And it's another one. I don't know what's true and what's not, but I do know that Shannon and John never looked happy together. as my mom says, in a relationship, you should bring out the best in each other. And I don't think Shannon and John did that. And I don't know how
That's
much
true.
good there is in John or Alexis. So maybe they bring out all of the best that they can find in
Yeah,
each
I
other.
mean, this is going to be interesting to see how it washes out. I don't know. I mean, I'm entertained. So congrats.
Yeah, it's just feels high risk. Like
It does.
she's in peak grief after losing her mother. He's fresh out of a long-term hyper dramatic relationship and breakup. Fresh. They're both connected to a TV show and
Right?
anyways.
I know. Jen and Katie doing yoga in Jen's backyard. They're doing the poses and, Katie makes a joke about, well, in this position, something, Matt. Like, I forget what it is now, but I said that Katie and Matt seem to have a really lovely marriage. They're not schmaltzy or try hard on camera like Jen and Ryan, to be fair, or like PK and Dorit or Vicky and Brooks. Like, Matt doesn't give off like grody vibes. And I have to remind myself this is reality TV. And if I don't know by now that appearances don't mean shit, the joke's on me. Cough, cough, The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Like, my God, we'll talk about that later. Feels like of all the couples I can trust on this season of The Real Housewives of Orange County, it's Katie and Matt. And when I wrote this, I hadn't yet seen the scene where Kylie's going to change her name. So, yeah. Katie shares that after Big Bear, she sent Heather a text and it's been a week and she hasn't gotten a reply back. And Katie safely assumes that Heather wants her asshole licked while Katie begs for forgiveness and she's not willing to do that.
And Katie said that, Katie sent the text because she heard that Heather was pissed that Katie hadn't sent a text to apologize for, again, Disney pics. Like we're still talking about a paparazzi moment at Disneyland. And Katie in her confessional says, I can't believe we're still talking about this. And I was like, same.
Same, Katie, same.
I'm boring you to tears already.
You're
it's
not.
Just, no,
it's not
just,
you.
It's Disney pics.
Up too late last night.
But I love Katie for seeing through Heather's bullshit and calling it out. I
love it.
And I love that she stands by it. I love that she calls Gina out. I'm not going to kiss your ass, Heather. I'm not Gina. I was like, yeah. Good. And Heather, it's like, it's the Wizard of Oz. Katie has pulled the curtain and it's like, what are you? You're nothing. Like you say, you live in a mall. Your husband's lame. You don't bring anything to this world that I, can't imagine not having. Like
her clothes don't bring me joy.
Yeah. And that's a bummer. Her romance novel hair. I was like, is that really?
I liked her. I did like her look that night, but yeah, like it's just
on a death mannequin.
Joyless.
Yeah.
She's joyless.
But I love Katie for saying she doesn't feel motivated to relieve Heather's discomfort around the Disney pic. She says, if Heather wants to talk, great. If not, also great. It's not necessary for me. And I was like, oh my God, nobody's ever said such a thing.
Yeah.
And I believe it. It doesn't feel like a put on or a character. It feels like Katie's literally like the rest of us. Like, who cares?
Who cares?
And if you care, then we're not meant to be friends because I don't care about things like Disney paparazzi pics for this long. I can't care about something so stupid for this long.
So stupid.
Yeah.
So stupid. So stupid. Oh my God. Jen asks Katie how it's going with her ex-husband. And this exchange really, to me, was a snapshot of who both Jen and Katie are. Because Katie asks how Dawson specifically is doing. They hear the rumble of his Mustang and she's like, how is Dawson? Because she knows.
She goes, is he okay?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's the direct question to ask, man.
I'm going to assume / project that Katie singled Dawson out because he's 17. He's the oldest. He's a teenager. Teenagers can rebel. They've gone through this huge transition. It just spoke to who Katie is. To me, it just was more evidence that Katie is really dialed in to the human experience and sees beyond, like it wasn't just, oh, that was a car like going vroom, vroom pretty loud. It's like, oh, not that it was the car making her ask it, but just like, hey, how's it going? There's potential there for there to be some fallout given everything that's going on. what's going on? And I
And
just
I
loved this
appreciated
conversation between the two of them.
Me
Yeah.
too. And I appreciated Jen for being upfront and saying, like, look, this is challenging. They're adjusting to a divorce, they're adjusting to a new living situation with a new man.
Mm-hmm.
Before Ryan was just Jen's, and now they're all under his roof. And like,
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that I didn't have to experience that. It was weird enough when my mom had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I can't imagine if we'd had to move into his walls. I would have been revving my
Your Mustang
engines
engine
everywhere.
as well.
Yeah.
Hey.
But then she mentions that she does not speak with her ex. And then she gives us this like really tragic history. She was married at 21 and at the time already had a 14-month-old baby. And her dad insisted that she get married, even though she was having major reservations the week of, certainly the day of. They stayed together, had more babies, had more problems. Katie's parents encouraged her to stay married because good Catholic girls do not get divorced. And even as the marriage was obviously failing and Katie was leaving over and over again, her parents still asked her to stay in it, which, I mean, she just had no support in making a healthy choice for her own life. And then she adds this tragic detail that her ex threw away all of Katie's personal belongings from her youth and from her young adulthood. And I mean, that's just evil. That's just wicked.
It's evil.
It's so directly, whoever is capable of that without apology, I find terrifying. And I'm
do
so sad that she was ever with this man and so glad that she's gone without contact.
That is a diabolical, irreversible, like you just said, like it's just the most evil thing you can fucking do. It's one thing if you throw someone's clothes out the window like they do in the movies, like, fuck you, get out of my life, It's like, okay, well, go to Nordstrom and replace that shit. Might not be the same. Listen, don't throw my shit out because a lot of my shit you can't replace. I'd be real pissed. But also,
like photos and yearbooks and like the personal
right.
stuff that's your personal history. But I also appreciated her centeredness of like, it's gone. It's not like she's harping on it like, I'll never get it back. It's just like that happened and that was really terrible. And either I can live my life resenting that and ruminating on it every day, or I can just tell that part of my story and let that be the bummer it is and keep it moving.
Yeah, dude. Seriously. It made me think of, my parents got married young and they were just planning to move in together. And my mom's dad, my grandpa, was like, well, if you're going to move in together, you might as well just get married. And my mom, who always listened to my grandpa, was like, oh, I guess we should. So they got married instead of just living together.
I mean, and it's also one of those things, it's like, it's a gamble. It just is a gamble. You put your ball on the roulette wheel and it's 60-40 how it lands. Like,
right.
In my family, there's my mom and dad got divorced. My aunt and uncle met their first day freshman year of college and have been together ever since until he passed last year.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that's a lifetime.
Yeah.
From age 19 to, 79.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Like
that.
And who knew? How can you possibly know when you're that age? They didn't know. They were just like, let's go for it. And they had 5 kids and they ran a farm and a coffee house, like they had a bank, like they did everything, highs and lows. And for whatever reason, they, that match was meant to go the distance and some others are not,
It's wild.
Yeah. But Katie does talk about how the divorce affected all of her kids, and her youngest has remained in Atlanta with his father, choosing to live with his father.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt a little sad when she just, I know I just praised her for not ruminating on losing personal items. But then when she was so like, well, that's just what happens in these custody things with divorces. And I was like, oh. But I think she just didn't want to why pull a Tamra and break down about a child that doesn't want anything to do with you right now.
Right. Or like, she's not going to add fuel to the fire. She's just going to be like, this is how it is. I cannot fathom the pain and the other agony that Katie must go through and has gone through. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine.
And it's on all sides. It's like her husband sucks, but her parents
Yeah.
How dare they encourage her to stay in something that is abusive?
I am
Oh my
so
God.
grateful for the most part, at least again, and I recognize I live in the bubble of a bubble of a bubble. Here on the West Coast, I live in a very progressive area of the country, of the world. And I was like, thank God times have changed. But I'm sure there's some families out there where times haven't changed. And they're
I hope.
talking their kids out of getting divorced when they should be.
I mean, and it's also just like my mom is wonderful and like the most supportive person on the planet, but comes from an era where like working women weren't common. And I was in a business partnership that needed to come to a close for like, it just needed to come to
A long time.
Yes. Well, there were just issues that were not resolving and they were getting progressively worse. And I had been talking about it for years because I didn't want the relationship to end. I wanted to stay in it. I tried every way I knew how to make it successful and I failed, or the relationship
you did not fail.
failed. Well,
Yeah.
we couldn't find our way forward. It was time for it to find an ending. And I remember telling my mom, and it was going to affect my business life. And she got so panicked, and I was just like, are you fucking serious right now? You're telling me to stay in this? Like, it's miserable for both parties involved. Like, I'm doing the thing that both people, I think both people want. It's just really hard to do once you get used to someone or something. Anyways, I'm sorry I'm being so vague, but
You're not.
I'm doing that intentionally because I do care about this person still to this day. But I understand that feeling of like, and even with my engagement that broke up because it wasn't, because it was based on a lie, there was still that like, ugh, the fear that Margee will be never married. That's the box you check on forums. It's not single, it's never married.
Right.
Married, divorced, widowed, never married. It's just so fucking shameful. Yeah, I think they wanted to spare me that shame, but like, whatever. I'll check the box. It's fine.
Just
whatever.
Totally.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes, you do.
Marriage, divorce. Yeah.
Jen shares that Kylie is in the process of legally changing her name to Janella. For Kylie, using the term dad is traumatizing, so she calls Matt Padre, which I think is fucking adorable. And the other day she was on the phone and she said, "Hi, Dad," when Matt came in the room, and he burst into tears. And the fact that Matt burst into tears speaks volumes about his character.
Yeah.
And I got choked the fuck up. Again, I understand I'm watching a TV show, but if the surface is the real, what a good person.
And it's just like the hope in an unconventional family.
Yes.
Just
That's
letting
a perfect
go
way to
of
put
like
it.
the only way to be happy is if you get married once and it lasts forever.
Yeah.
False.
So false.
Yeah.
Fuck The Bachelor and The Bachelorette for just continuing that stupid ass bullshit toxic belief.
But this season, it's really getting, it's having to be re-examined because of, anyways.
This season needs to be thrown into the fucking compost bin and tossed around with some other organics and come out as something else. The men on this season are utter fucking trash. And Jen said on the last episode, "I haven't been in a healthy relationship before." Well, then why are you ready to get married?
She's not.
We all know that no one goes on that fakakta show to get married anymore. I get it. I understand. But like, it's just the blind leading the blind. And I don't like it. The show is so
pretty
stupid.
Flagrant that she's like, "I've never been in a healthy relationship. I'm not in therapy. Let's get engaged."
I don't know how to do this. And it's like, well, listen, the guy you're saying that you love you to, I love you, idiot, like he's not fucking worth the dog shit in between the treads of my shoes. Okay?
Ramona.
Devin is a piece of shit. Devin is a transphobic MAGA piece of shit.
What? Oh, see, I don't know any
my
of this.
God,
If
yes.
it's not on ABC, I'm unaware. So this is something that is coming out on Reddit.
That's why everyone gotta get on Reddit. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't know.
Screenshots, timelines, receipts,
proof,
fucking everything. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
And
damn it.
Marcus, the other
This I heard about, and I can't even stomach
right?
it. It's
Exactly.
too.
Exactly. Trash. Utter
I mean,
fucking
it's
trash.
like it's trash, but we can't throw people away. We have to take care of them. Like that's a man with severe PTSD that's not been treated. He needs to be in treatment.
I get it. I get it. And I will say that I also have severe PTSD, had severe PTSD, and I didn't act like that man.
But you went to therapy.
I did.
He blew up. Everyone died around him, and he did he needs ketamine therapy.
He needs a lot of things, and possibly some. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
SA allegations are multiple.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
And honestly, like you kick an animal and like you're dead to me.
Right.
I just can't help think, again, we have troubled people in my own family who are in jail serving their time because they've done things that require that of them. And I just can't, like, the person who's in jail is my aunt's kid, like it's so complicated. Like,
God,
that
must
and
be
nobody,
hard.
yeah, it's terrible, but it's but also I say that. And then if someone like Marcus did that to my fucking niece, I'd be on a plane to wherever to fucking dick punch him until it couldn't work ever again. So,
And the fact that like he's just out there saying words and that was, of course he's saying words. That's what we all do when we talk. Oh my God. Never mind. I can't get my thoughts straight about it, and I'm not going to waste anybody's time. But
no, and my thoughts clearly aren't straight about it either, because I'm like, we have to be compassionate. Also, I'll kill him. It's like, well, Margee, maybe you shouldn't comment on this just yet.
Yeah. Anyway.
But look, I will say that again, I know they're young. I know they're all in their 20s, the people who go on that show, but like, it's not a secret now that if you choose to participate in one of these shows, whatever skeletons are in your closet are likely to surface. So if you're not prepared to be on the receiving end of some feedback, then you're delusional. You're absolutely delusional. If you walk into any show thinking you're going to get the hero edit, you're a psycho from jump.
I mean,
like, it's just not guaranteed. Yeah. That's insane.
It's insane. It's insane.
Even if you're a veteran, even if you're a child of divorce, even if you're whatever. So
it's fucking nuts.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get a spray tan with Emily and Shane.
Well, just one thing jumped out at me is that Jen, in her confessional after this scene with Katie, she says that they're similar in that they blended their families, and Katie came out ahead, and that gives Jen hope. Jen says that gives her hope. And I want to say, but fundamentally, sweet, dear Jen, Matt and Ryan are not cut from the same cloth. They're not cut from the same section of the fucking fabric store. And I suspect, and I project, that she is grasping at that straw of like, okay, Katie did it, and look at how successful that is. It's another thing that she can use to quiet down that voice that she has inside telling her, run, this man is not good. I feel compassion for her, but I have to acknowledge, like, she could work more on listening to that voice, and I'm scared for where this is going. I wish her peace. They say water seeks its own level. I think that Jen is a naive lamb and that he is a fucking wolf in wolf's clothing. And there are women that I don't give a flying fuck if they date someone like Ryan. But Jen, I feel scared for.
She's in crisis. She has no options.
Thank you for that reminder. You're always reminding me of that, and I appreciate it.
Not for Ryan, she'd be homeless on the street with 5 kids.
You're right.
So
you're right.
You find a way to make it work. I mean, look at that backyard that they're in, Like, that's Ryan's house. So that's better than sleeping in your car and showering at Planet Fitness,
Paid for if ill-gotten gains. Ill-gotten gains,
True.
Just like Jen Shaw, just like fucking, why are names escaping right now? I know why. Because I didn't take my ADHD medicine. Yeah, the Giudices. I'm sorry, Giudice.
I don't know what they're...
No one's going to ever get me to say Giudice. I'm sorry.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. They've changed it multiple times.
God, so sad. Anyway. So yes, Emily and Shane are spray tanning at home, AKA the scene where Emily figures out and vocalizes what you and I have been suspecting all along this entire season. Mean banter first, mean banter, spray tan jokes, and then Emily asks Shane if he's gone to the doctor, and she says that she doesn't think that he takes his health seriously enough, and that there's only so much she can do before she feels like a nag and comes off aggressive as mean. And I can relate to both sides of this. I can relate to sounding like Emily, coming off like Emily, being a browbeater, and to be honest, at times that has been a successful way, albeit an unideal way, for me to light that motivational fuse under whose butt I'm browbeating. I don't like that, but I can also relate to where I feel like Shane is coming from, that I want to avoid things because if I deal with my health, it means I have to face the fact that something might be wrong that I have to deal with, and it's scary. It's daunting. I don't know if he's in denial or if he's just lazy. I kind of doubt he's lazy. I feel like he might be in denial about it. And it's also really hard to make doctor's appointments in this country because you have to wait for like a fucking month.
Yeah. I also feel like again, I'm projecting, but I just feel like he, like me, is just not having this as a storyline. Emily has brought it up in every episode. And I think he's just like, dude, I had a chest pain and we don't need to make this. And also, I don't love it as a storyline because, if this was a written show, the dramatic outcome would be the Widowmaker heart attack. And I don't want that for him. So I don't want Emily to be right because that would mean Emily was right. You should have gone to the doctor. See what happened? You're dead. Can we not fucking set up this storyline? It's either totally unsatisfying or totally tragic, the ending here. So I too was like, move it along. What's really going on? And then I appreciated when we got to the part where she expresses concern about being perceived as a mean person by Gina. And I really saw Shane and Emily's marriage in this scene. Shane sat still. He made eye contact. He listened. He didn't interrupt. He hugged her. He affirmed her. Did I love Shane in this scene? I did. I was like, this man is a good husband, a good partner, a good guy.
Loved
Could it be
Shane Simpson in this scene so much? I was like, oh my God.
For this 6 minutes, I was okay.
This whole scene was so affirming and gave me hope. They do have a great marriage, it seems. And he does seem like, he's snarky AF. We all have our thing. I leave the fucking cupboards open. I'm sorry, I cannot open a fucking cupboard without closing it. And then remember to close. We all have our faults, is what I'm saying. I don't even know why I said that. I'm sorry. It's really terrible when I don't take my ADHD medicine, but it's a holiday day, and if I don't take it within a certain window, I'm fucked. So no one called for that. My point is, I agree. Just going to shut up right there.
No, I mean, I just, and Emily, what I also appreciated, because we've talked about this on the podcast before, about feeling like we have been assigned the role of designated patient in any relationship. And Shane did none of that.
Nope.
He just listened to Emily talk about, she talked about how she had to be mean because she had no one to raise her. Nobody taught her otherwise. Nobody advocated for her. Nobody cared for her. She had no lunch. She had no lunch money. She had to raise her fucking self. And he didn't make her bad for that or less than for that. He just said that is your mom and that's never going to change. So, let's talk about now. You need to apologize to Jen. And she was like, yeah, I need to apologize to Jen. I shouldn't have yelled at her. But Emily's so clear on why she did, because Jen has been coddled her whole life. And Emily never got any of that. But it's also a look at the whole grass is greener thing. Is it? Jen was coddled her whole life. And now she's in a severe, dire situation with 5 children, to the point where she has to marry Ryan because her options are over, and and Shane encourages Emily to break the cycle. And Emily seems to sincerely ask him, do you think I'm a good mom? which broke my heart because like she's never seen an example of a good mom. She didn't have one. So she doesn't know if she's doing good mom stuff. And he said yes, and he gave her a weird hug. It was a strange, like collarbone to collarbone hug, bodies not connected,
Oh my
but
God.
perhaps they were just protecting their spray tans.
They probably feel tacky and stinky. Yeah.
Yeah, but I really appreciated that whole exchange.
It was incredible. I loved seeing it all click. And I don't think that this was the first time she's had these realizations, you know? I don't know. Maybe they were, and that's even more impressive. But like, I also have to say, it felt good to be like able to see this from a million miles away. And I'm not like, oh, you and I had no problem seeing this. I'm just saying you and I have done enough work on ourselves that we can trust our perception of things 9 times out of 10, which is all I'm saying about this, is that it's like, this is not about Jen. This is about the fact that Emily grew up in a completely different way. And this is about Emily.
And Emily talked about, you know, I think either in this scene or sometime later, she uses the language like there was no safety. There was no one to rescue me. It was me. I was it. And of course that makes you mean, because if you can't trust or rely on anybody, like your instinct is going to be to not trust or rely on anybody. And so you're going to have a fucking edge. What I did take away from the scene is like, it's not going to resolve without some outside help. You know what I mean? Because Emily's really clear on what the problem is, but it keeps coming up, you know?
Yeah,
and it's like, you need someone to guide you to like a different tool set to manage these feelings next time they come up, so you don't yell at someone who's already in the fucking gutter, you know?
Totally. When she said, yes, I'm aggressive or mean, but I had to be, because as a kid, you shouldn't have to figure all that stuff out. And she said it with like genuine emotion and tears. And it just made me so fucking emotional. Like, I relate so hard to what she said. I relate, like, my mom made up for my dad's shortcomings in a lot of ways, thank God. But kids should not have to figure this shit out. They should not. Fundamentally, they should not have to figure this fucking shit out. Regardless if it's going to be an asset to them as an adult, like, oh, I learned how to survive. Like, okay, yes, it might turn out to be an asset for you later, but it shouldn't fucking have to be, is the thing. I hate that kids should be resilient. I hate that. They should just fucking be. They shouldn't have to be like, well, they'll be all right. It's like, yeah, what does all right mean though? You know, what does all right mean? They made it. Like, what does that mean? Like, what is your idea of made it or they'll be fine mean, you know? And I just want to die from the collective mistreatment, disrespect. What's the word I'm looking for just like not taking children seriously because they're fucking children. When in fact, they should be the ones that we take the most seriously and the ones that we should be treating with the most care. Because that is what we are supposed to do. You know, I talk about this with my therapist a lot, and I've talked about this on the podcast before. Like, you know, when I hear or see a child being mistreated on the spectrum of children mistreatment, you know, if I happen to see it, and I'll tell my therapist, and it's like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, you just have to trust that everyone's going to survive. Everyone's going to survive. And I don't want to have kids grow up and have to go to fucking Al-Anon. I don't want to have kids grow up and go to fucking therapy. Like, I just want them to grow. I just want them to be able to fucking grow up and just flourish and thrive and feel safe in their goddamn homes and feel safe with the people that have been tasked to care for them and to not be exploited or disrespected or not fucking taken seriously. I want it to like get through adults' heads, like by any means necessary, that they were hurt and that means they are hurting their families. And I know that society needs to put practices into effect that like make facilitating these changes possible and accessible and normalized and a priority. But how is that going to make money? It's not going to make money.
I mean, it's like there are some small things, like when Emily said she didn't have lunch, she didn't have lunch money. It made me think of like their school lunch programs.
There are. Like there not are everywhere, but yes.
I know.
I know.
But it's also such a huge, it's also so hard because I think about like some people just aren't capable of caring for children and they get them anyway. And like that is, I mean, I wish I've always said this, and if I were ever a politician, which I will never be because it just seems exhausting and I have no patience for liars. My platform would be that mental health should be a part of your annual physical, that every
Right.
kid should get their knees knocked to see if their reflexes are good, and also have someone ask a few questions to see like how their mental health is in check or not.
Yeah,
And then they
dude.
can get like treatment or prescriptions for that. Like the way you would get a prescription for physical therapy if you tore a tendon.
Right.
Maybe if your brain is like in a bad spot, you could get a 6-week coverage for some triage for whatever's going on in your household. I don't know. But I don't know. It's such a huge problem that I don't know.
I mean, I wish I could take this energy to like being a social worker or in some kind of advocacy for children, but I don't think that I can stomach it. I don't think I could survive it. I am not good at detaching.
But those are the best.
But
Those
I,
are the
I
best
don't.
activists.
But I mean, Margee, I don't think that. I mean, like, I don't think that I could. I don't think that I could. I don't think I could take it. I don't think I
Yeah.
could handle the pain. And I'm
Yeah.
not trying to make it about me. I'm just saying that, like, if I'm this busted up about children whose faces I don't even know, like, I can't. I don't think I would survive it. And I'm not being dramatic or whatever. Like, I don't think that I could. I think I would. I don't think I can.
Mm.
I would if I could. I totally would. I don't know. Maybe something would. I don't know. She says she never wants Emily never wants Annabelle to feel like she did. And she goes into her room every night and tells her how much she loves her. And Josh, I do the same thing with Leo. Like, we probably over-index when it comes to our kid, like we never want him to ever doubt he was like cherished and seen and heralded. And like, have I been perfect? Fuck no. Is his experience as a child and how he'll see himself as an adult like a huge motivator in my life? Like, fuck yeah, it is. And to my husband and my credit, like, we broke the cycle,
Big time.
of the most egregious behaviors,
Mm.
like, what else can we do? Like, that's our one fucking job. The fact that he like knows he can make a mistake and not fear for his safety, the fact that he knows what's predictable and what's not, like, Anyway, so she asked Shane if she's a good mom, and Shane answers like, yeah, of course you are, and they hugged and I fucking cried. I just fucking cried. This whole scene made me cry. And I loved Shane. I did. I loved Shane. I loved Emily. It was great.
Yeah, I really
And
see
that
why
was,
they love each other and why they're a good match,
and that was only 12 minutes into this fucking episode. 12 minutes. Lots of Kleenex. And I was already emotionally exhausted, but also I was really fucking glad to see this kind of conversation go down on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, I think it's this is where reality TV serves a good purpose. And like, this is what it
Yeah.
looks like to have a healthy discussion.
Yep.
It could have been just a gossipy, like if this same conversation had happened between Tamra and Eddie, it would have just been like, can you believe what Gina said about me? She said I'm acting like a bitch and Eddie would have been like, well, she's a bitch. Yeah,
Right.
everybody's a bitch.
Right.
But this is Emily saying like, Gina says I'm mean. Am I mean? And then
Yeah.
this like lovely discourse between Emily and the person who knows her best.
Yeah.
And they reach a resolution and it was like lovely.
It was beautiful.
So,
It was beautiful.
yeah, it was great. Then we have Tamra and Sophia going for a drive. And it did make me laugh. Sophia was reluctant to go because, she said her intrusive thoughts out loud. She goes, Tamra says, what could go wrong? And Sophia just goes, you go fast, accidents happen, people die. And I was like, oh my God, I so relate to that.
She's
I never
such a
say that part out
teenager,
loud,
right?
but like, I love that she did.
Totally.
And we find out that Sophia took a gap year due to some anxiety issues. And I hope she consented to having that televised. But
I do
either way,
too.
it's nice to hear that even Tamra is understanding of and supportive of taking time to tend to your mental health. 1 year is not a lost, you're not behind
I
life
promise
is,
I
if we're
promise
lucky,
you.
life is long and a year is nothing.
I'm living proof. I'm living proof from that. Like, I was really glad to see that Tamra was supportive of it because again, I can only speak from my experience. Like, I took a gap year as well. The shit hit the fan fucking hard in my family my junior year of high school. And I think that was like the fever pitch. And it, wasn't great my senior year either, but I'm pretty sure that like the straws that broke the camel's back were like my junior year of high school. So here I am. I'm trying to take AP fucking American history. So while the shit is hitting the fan at my house, I'm supposed to be learning about like old white men from England who are enslaving people to build this country. Like, fuck that. Fuck that. So I fail that class. I fail like whatever math I'm in at that point, algebra or something, because my life at home is basically like just a hyper speed elevator, just cruising down to like the bowels of the Twilight Zone. That's how it felt every fucking day of my life when I was 16 and 17. So I barely graduated in high school. I took a year off, did community college for like a semester or two, and then I went to UW. So fucking do it. Take that time off. College is not going nowhere. It's not going nowhere. Who wants to go and waste all that money when like you're not ready? Anyway.
Yeah, and it sounds like Sophia's anxiety is, and maybe it's just Tamra's interpretation of it, but it sounds like Sophia's anxiety has to do with being away from Tamra.
Wow.
So like that's some, enmeshment that they could probably both stand to work on.
Wow,
But
I miss that.
she
'Cause I
said
was
like
so
she's
up in my own
anxious,
head.
particularly about being away from me. And I was like, ooh, interesting. But again, the pandemic fucked everything up. My sister and I were talking about it over the weekend, how just like your general perception of safety got completely rattled. Like
100.
she was saying like we used to walk through the world and be like that tree limb could fall on me, oh well, or I could get in a car accident, that's possible. And then COVID happened and it's like I could die at any minute, any time. It's invisible, I'll never know if it got me or not. I could a breeze could waft and something could fly up my nose and I could be dead 4 days later because I am suffocating in my own fluids. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So suddenly like this sense of like it could be okay or not is just like, it's definitely not okay. It's never okay. Like, talk about hypervigilance. Right. So I think we're all sort of coming down from / learning how to incorporate that feeling into a life that has some stretch and give and meaning,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyways, I felt for Sophia. And then we go to Katie and Kylie, who are driving to the courthouse to do Kylie's name change. But we start in Katie's house where Kylie is talking about there's a segment in the paperwork that asks for the reason as to why you want to change your name. And she's like, because my bio dad like abandoned me and sucks. And this broke my heart. Mm-hmm. Katie reports that a couple years after she separated from her ex, Katie's mom had cancer. And this language worried me a little bit. Katie said, I felt like my ex-husband kept one of my sons from seeing her. So that is it made me a little uncomfortable. Like, why did you share that with your child to the point where she was compelled to write a text to her dad? So Kylie texted her dad to tell him how selfish he was from keeping a kid from seeing his dying grandma. And then there's been no contact ever since. And he doesn't call for birthdays. He didn't congratulate her on her high school graduation. And I know that pain. It is annual. Like it's an annual reminder of like, yeah, it just feels terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the over under that you do with like, I do with my sister, like, hey, what's the over under on we're going to, getting the happy birthday. I did get one this year. I will say that I did get one this year. There were many, many years where
the second I stood up to my dad, I never heard a word from him except to be like yelled at. He called me by accident on my birthday once to yell at me about something.
Charming.
And he, ended the conversation shitting on both me and my sister, going like, about the McGee girls, you know what? Fuck them. And I was like, God, it's my birthday. I gotta go.
So,
but he didn't know it was my birthday because like it doesn't occur to him. He doesn't care. Anyways, he's softened. He now has dementia. And he's like slightly gentler, but
The fact that it has to take that, for
I
Christ's
know,
sake.
right?
I know.
But it's also, this is what I mean by like, some people just aren't equipped to be parents. My dad had no tools. I think he resented having children. I think daughters in particular was like, what the fuck is this? They take all my money and need educations and want to go to dance class. Like, ugh. Yeah, people should care for their children, but like, I don't know how many people get to have that story. So I feel like that's where
and
we
it
have to
just makes me
support
wanna
each other.
just
But that's where
vaporize.
but isn't it how we bond with each other? Like, so many of my close friends are people who share that story, right?
Yeah, I just don't like the fact that, like, I don't want to have kids grow up and have to bond over this, because that
No, I
means it
know.
happened.
I know.
That's where my heels dig in. I don't like having to serenity prayer through shit like that. I don't want to accept the things I cannot change.
Yeah.
I don't want to. That it still feels like it still feels like it just isn't. Oh, it gives like an okay. Like, so what if I accept that not everyone should be a parent? Like, how does that change what the result of that is? Not being a good parent, and then a kid grows up feeling scared and unsafe in their house, or not loved, not confident. My sister and I sometimes look at each other and we say, what would it have been like if we were just told, you know what, kiddo? You're so smart. You're so funny.
Mm-hmm.
You're beautiful. You don't have to change for no one. You don't, like, what would it have been like? Just for like 1 year. Like, would I have confidence now? Not that would I have confidence, but like, how different would the way I approach things that scare me feel? Like, would I turn on myself immediately? Or would I go, you know what? It just wasn't the right fit for me. Because 9 times out of 10, I was always going to be the one that made the bad thing happen. Because, well, why wouldn't I? I'm not pretty. I'm not funny. I'm not smart. Not thin. Why would I win? Why would I possibly matter? And that is what, I don't, what am I trying to say? I don't fucking know. Sorry. I don't know. I don't know how to wrap that
It's
up.
like, it's an impossible question. It's just like, I keep thinking about like, I don't know, like acceptance is the answer to all my problems, right? So it's just like, if that is the case, and then I might start encouraging you to research advocacy, activist
God.
groups to participate in.
Terrifies me, Margee.
But maybe the healing is in
like, I
being
can't even
active
watch movies.
I'm
where
not saying go look at kids be abused. I'm saying
No, I
there are
know, but, like-
organizations that like the Boys and Girls Club, where kids who have shitty homes can go until 6 p.m.
Right.
and
I
have
see
a
what you're
good
saying.
coach teach them
Okay.
basketball. Like, there's places, and I'm sure there's tons more organizations that would love someone with your energy and passion to support their, I don't know.
No,
Maybe
I
I'm
hear
trying
you.
to put a Band-Aid on something
No,
that
you're
is
not.
a
You're not. I'm
gaping
sure
bullet
I'm like,
wound.
I wouldn't be me if I didn't like fucking all or nothing it, or make it like out to be some, I'm sure there's like a middle ground between like doing full on social work, foster care intake person, and also like reading to kids after school, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I know.
Arranging a basketball drive to get new balls to the Boys
Right.
and Girls Club.
Right.
It's just like there's it feels so enormous, and I feel so helpless so much of the time.
Yeah.
But like, even little things like when I get to foster puppies, hearing the stories makes me want to like,
Oh God.
just burn the world to the ground. Like,
God.
what do you mean someone threw him out of a moving car?
Yeah.
He's 1 pound. What the
Right.
fuck?
Right.
Who does that? But then I just get to bring
Someone-
this little thing home
Yeah.
and wait for his little cuts to heal and play with him and teach him to trust, people, bring people over. Puppies bring, their little antidepressants in and of themselves. And like, it certainly doesn't solve the greater problem that there are people on the planet that exist who think that's an okay thing to do, to litter, a dog. But that's all I can do.
I know.
And then they
I
go to
know.
homes. They've all gotten adopted to like safe, happy places, you know? Not all of them do,
God.
not all of them make it, but like, I guess, yeah, I get overwhelmed by the bigness of the problem and then I
That's,
just want to go to bed forever.
yeah, I do.
So
I
part of
do.
what I'm doing is projecting onto you, you know, I need small solutions. Otherwise, I just throw my hands up and
You're right.
want to
You're
end it
right.
all because what's the point?
You're right.
I can get real Sophia with it. Like you go too fast, accidents happen, people die. And
Yeah. I
like I just
mean,
need to get to like just take the car out for a
right?
ride and see what happens.
Totally. Totally. So I, it's like I don't want to nitpick, but like at the end of the scene, like when they're getting in the car and Kylie's like, I'm nervous. And Katie's like, don't be. And I was like, dude, Katie, just validate her first, please. Like, I understand where you're coming from. I understand that what you're saying is after the fact, this is all going to be so great. Like, you won't even remember feeling this nervous. You're just going to get the paperwork that says your last name is XYZ, you know? But instead, it's like, no, don't be. Like, no, just go like, oh, God, kiddo, I know. It's a big deal. And it's exciting. I wonder if some of the nerves are also excitement. But I love you. Let's go to Starbucks after we drop off this application. I don't know.
Yeah, or even just that thing of like, I can't imagine what it's like
Yes.
to have
Just,
to close a chapter and change your name
yeah.
because you got rejected by your father. This must be a lot of emotions. Like
Mm-hmm.
someone loves you so much and can't wait for you to call them dad, and someone who had the opportunity to be your dad sucked.
Yeah.
And this is the day where like those two roads meet, and that's so many big feelings. Like
Yeah.
I
Big
felt the
time.
same way. I was like, oh, Katie, don't just blow by that. She's crying because she's about to
Yeah.
change her whole identity.
Okay. Okay,
So,
good. I wasn't
yeah,
just
that broke my
being
heart.
a fucking, okay, good. I was like,
No.
oh God, Ramona, you got to look at everything, rah, 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 you know? And then we go back to Tamra and Sophia, where Tamra like continued to perplex me. Like, she's clearly capable of being at times thoughtful and nuanced. And Tamra tells Sophia she's smart and she doesn't know how that happened, you know? And then she says, you look like your dad. I'm all, bitch, do not tell your daughter that you look like the parent that you don't talk to. Like, don't fucking do that. I don't know. Am I overreacting on that? I just felt like Tamara is just like she's good. Then she's like one step forward, 10 steps back. I don't know, dude.
This felt like just a runaway train because Sophia, you know, Tamara said, I don't know how you're smart. I guess you got your looks from me. And then she followed it up like most normal people would by saying, like, and your brains from your dad. And now all of a sudden, dad's in the conversation. And then I think it just got away from them where,
Oh,
yeah, I don't
God.
know. She's like, you look like your dad. And it's like, let's stop talking about dad.
Yeah,
It's like, okay.
just don't even bring it up. And then in her confessional, she says that her heart breaks for Simon because he has two kids that don't talk to him, and she has one that doesn't talk to her, which we all know. And I was like, bitch, your heart needs to break for your fucking kids. Stop. Not for the adult man, in quotations, and not for you. Your hearts need to be breaking collectively for your three kids who you fucked up,
Well, I
possibly
think, isn't that what
beyond all
she
repair.
kind of said, that it was all due to the divorce, you know?
But like, what does that mean? The divorce is the two grown-ups being
Right.
fucked to each other. We saw what Simon's capable of. We know what Tamara's capable of. They made choices. They made choices that result in the fact that their children aren't speaking to the both of them at the same time. I don't know, dude. I know I'm being a dick. I know I'm
You're not.
projecting, but like maybe it's by design, because if she says that her heart breaks for her kids instead of her and Simon, that's going to be a lot more painful for her to have to deal with. Because she's got to look in the mirror. And like Vicky said on that fucking podcast, and I guess I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. All I know is that Sydney doesn't talk to her fucking mom, and her mom acts like an enormous piece of shit on television once a week, or as often as she can, on her podcast, in the blogs, wherever. Tamra is real committed to choosing acting like a dick. And to me, it feels like a no-brainer. Like, if I'm a dick and it's keeping my kid from talking to me, I got to stop being a dick. what's my priority? If I'm her kid and I see her continually choose to be on a show, wearing bad wedge shoes and an Hermes belt, I'm going to be like, fuck you, bitch. I know what your priority is. I don't want to talk to you. I don't know. I'm really not, I'm not neutral in the situation.
No, and I did think it was gross. Like, you just really see a difference between how Tamra and Katie, who are both dealing with the same situation, where Katie has a child who doesn't live anywhere near her.
Oh my God.
And Tamra has one that doesn't speak to her. And Tamra's confessional is her like weeping and all about her.
Yeah.
And Katie clearly has some respect for the kid and showing some restraint and being like, this will be his story to tell when he's ready to, or once he's 18, I can talk about this because he'll be an adult. But until then, I'm just going to keep it neutral and keep it moving.
She's grossly disappointing. She's disappointing in volumes that are like unknown to me on a normal basis. There's disappointing, and then there's Tamra Judge disappointing. I don't like her.
Yeah, no.
But I'm also like coming off of talking about children being traumatized by their parents for the last 20 minutes, half hour. And like, so I have no patience for her right now. She can't do anything right in my mind at this moment.
She's certainly not making any effort to do anything.
No, that's right. She's
right
not.
Or above
There's no
board.
humility. This woman has no humility, and she's bullshit. Anyway.
I did love the next scene with Katie and Kylie in the car, and Katie suggests that Kylie and Sophia, Tamra's daughter, meet.
Mm-hmm.
And she says things like they're the same age and they sort of have similarly disappointing biological fathers. And my added element was like, and you both have moms on reality TV. Like, that must be something that's so weird to
that must be so weird.
make sense of. So I hope they do get together off camera, and like, because nobody else, it's very few, the number of kids who have that particular experience. So I hope those girls do meet.
I do too.
Then we have a montage of everyone getting dressed in Scottish attire for Tamra's Traders Party. I didn't have anything until Shannon and Vicky in the car.
Shannon and Vicky in the car. Just Vicky not listening to Shannon. Was it editing? Was it that Vicky was being a dick? Was it both?
I think it's, again, projecting. I think it's workaholism. She just cannot be in the moment. She cannot be still. She's consumed with obsession, with doing. I think it would be excruciating for her to sit still and listen the way Shane sat still and listened to Emily. I don't think Vicky's capable.
You're right.
She's so addicted to work. And I have people in my life like that who you just cannot get their attention. And I've come to understand it's not personal. Something inside them drives them to be incapable of just being present, cannot do it. No matter how dramatic your circumstances are or how joyful you're trying to create an event or whatever, they're just not, they can't be there. They have to be on their phone, on their computer, or checking emails. It's always,
you're right.
There's always a crisis, and there's just not. Right. I've learned in therapy, like, I choose my crises. Yeah.
Oh.
If I choose to open my email at 9 p.m., then I will see whatever email has come in at that hour that demands my attention. If I choose to go to bed and check it at 6 a.m., it'll still be there, and I can deal with it then. But like, I create my boundaries around crises. Anyone who has a real crisis will call a couple times if I don't answer the first time.
That's absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Oh my God, you're absolutely right. All these assholes arrive in like 50 million different fucking V12 engine SUVs.
Were they not hybrid at least?
Oh, fuck no.
Oh, God.
You know they make an EV Hummer now, Orange County. Go ahead. I know that y'all can keep your problematic politics, but drive a goddamn car that's going to be like better for the environment, okay? It's not your uncle's Hummer. It can be your Hummer that you plug in at night while you're sleeping. And then you can go to your fucking little venue in San Juan Capistrano. All 12 of you can pull up in a different fucking EV, and it's all going to be fine. But by all means, swingers montage that shit up with all those big-ass cars. Swingers. Sorry. Swingers came out in like what, like 1993? 1996.
Was it 96?
I think so.
Huh.
It's an iconic scene, though, when the cars are like driving and it's a real shame. Anyway.
All the SUVs arrive at the trader's mansion, and then Teddi enters. I've already discussed how she does not have it. And
right.
then so much of this was so boring to me. It was like explaining rules of a game. They fill out a questionnaire. Teddi taps the trader, and for what it's worth, I knew immediately that it was Heather because of her phony ass cadence and the language she chose. She's like, I guess I'm the traitor. Let the games begin. I was like,
I did too.
That's not Gina. That's not Emily. Like, 100%. It's just this performative, lame bullshit. So congratulations, romance hair.
Yep.
You suck. Then we have the cocktail hour where Shannon orders a weak tequila soda. And I just wrote, yikes. And then Heather pulls Katie to talk and invites Katie to some event for an organization she works with called Family Equality, in support of people of all genders and sexualities. And Katie is the one who initiates an apology once again for the goddamn Disney pics. She apologizes for being nosy. And Heather cuts her off and says, like, I just hope you'll get to know me now, this time. And I was like,
it was disgusting.
And also just, why is it all about you, Heather? Why don't you get to know Katie?
Yeah.
Why is it you're going to offer Katie the opportunity to get to know you? Why don't you ask a question? Why don't you do something to express interest? But instead, it's just like, you're now invited to come and like wash the queen's feet. It's like, no thanks. She's so ugh. And Katie said, she's like, it's impossible to get to know Heather when she won't let me finish the sentence. And Katie just goes, cheers to moving on. Because like there's nothing to do with this. It's so dumb.
You're right. I think that now that you just put that out, the fact that she's not interested in getting to know anyone else. She's interested in people knowing her.
In the way she wants to be known.
In the way she wants to be known.
Yeah,
you're right.
Her curated version of Heather Dubrow.
You, Dubrow. Fuck you. Fuck you. She's so stupid. She's not cool. Ooh, how eloquent. But what I can't even get the words. Like, what kind of asshole? Listen, if you don't want to get to know me, that's fine. Maybe, you know what? Maybe Katie's the one that needs to get her head out of her ass. If Heather's not going to get to know her, then Katie, move on.
That's what she said.
Who cares?
She said, cheers to moving on.
But I meant like even at the beginning, like when she was like, yeah, she saw me at Sutton's party and just turned and looked at me up and down and then looked away. Like I would be like, you know what? Vaya con fucking Dios, bitch. Bye. Speaking of Spanish, I want to just back up a little bit to like when they roll the tape back to BravoCon 2023 and they say like, don't ask me where I was on January 6th. I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Like, yeah, where were you on January 6th? Vicky says that she was in her condo in Puerto Vallarta. Puerto Vallarta. I learned on the podcast I listened to today while I was flat ironing my hair while getting ready for this. I learned that Victoria Gunvalson has been going to Puerto Vallarta since she was 17 years old. She's now 63. If you are not saying the name of the city where you live and you are saying it in a willful way, she's a racist. I know, no shit, Sherlock, she's a racist, but like just seeing it and then hearing it today, I was like, fuck you, Vicky. Fuck you. Because you know what's going to happen if you pronounce her name? Like, what is this, Gunvalson or, whatever? Like, she'll be like, oh, she sucks. She sucks, dude. She sucks.
Yeah, she's no good.
I was real pissed. No excuse for saying it like that. She's doing it on... Like, she doesn't care how it's pronounced. She's going to do it the way she does it. What? This is how I've always pronounced it. And then she talks about her fucking condo with the good sheets. I'm not kidding. I can't make this shit up. And then also, like, I hate Heather. And I'm having a very hard time coming to terms with my middle age. I'm really, like, it's fucking me up. I was talking with my mom about it this morning. I'm like, I should have started preparing for this when I was, like, in my early 40s. Like, okay, this is coming. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen seemingly overnight, and all of a sudden your life's going to change, and it's going to be in ways that you did not anticipate. And maybe like preparing myself wouldn't have prepared myself, but like Heather is like, why is the font on this survey so small? I'm all, bitch, get reading glasses. I know it's not fucking fun. No one wants to. Listen, the alternative is that maybe your eyes don't work. And I'm grateful that I have sight. I'm grateful. And I think it's shitty that I now have to pack so many pairs of fucking glasses in my purse. Because if I wear my contacts, I need a reading glass to be able to read. And it sucks. And it sucks. I acknowledge that it sucks, Heather Dubrow. I see you. My middle age sees your middle age. I hate it. I see you hate it. But I still think you suck. But it gave me the pang, like, fuck. That's right. Because you could put those reading glasses on. You're like, I ain't young no more. I ain't young no more. I need reading glasses.
That was a tough day when I realized that I wasn't just tired.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, my eyes are tired. And then I put on reading glasses and I was like, oh no, these work?
Yeah.
Before they used to make me dizzy. And now I'm like, these are great.
Yeah. Anyway, both things I've talked about in therapy, racism and middle age being hard.
And Heather Dubrow.
And Heather Dubrow, right.
Who embodies most of those qualities.
Dude.
Yeah, then we have the scene where Emily apologizes to Jen, which I really thought was like a great apology. She said, it was completely wrong of me to yell at you. I should have never. I was completely out of line. I am sorry, and I hope you can forgive me. And I appreciated Jen for engaging in a conversation instead of just saying like, that's okay, it's cool. She said, we keep finding ourselves in this position like I'm beneath you because you have more money. It feels like you value a bank account above everything else. And Emily cut her off and said, like, I came from nothing, so that's not true. But, you know, I understand you're in the position you're in because you were taking care of your whole life. And that was not my experience. And that's not your problem. But that's why what happened. And Jen says she looks up to Emily. So it was a bummer to be yelled at like that by someone who she appreciates. And Emily says she feels like an asshole after hearing that. And I was like, well, good. That's appropriate.
Nominate this scene for a fucking reality television Emmy. Honestly, I'm like tearing up a little bit. Like it would have been so like, I think we all would have bought it if she was like, oh my God, Emily, thank you so much. I'm so glad. Thank you. It really means a lot to me. And then period, done, move on. But instead she was like, you know, offering her curiosity to discuss it with Emily. Like, yeah, why is this happening? And then to say, I look up to you. I loved too that she was like, you know, it seems like you value money more than relationships. I'm sure that just wigged Emily out because we all know that she doesn't do that.
I disagree. I think this season, all she's done is say like, you better sell those glasses. You know, you wish you won these glasses. I could give them to you so you can sell them for money. You don't have a pot to piss in. She better hang on to that car or she's going to, that's who she's been this whole season.
But I think it was coming from that place of like, she was using that rage from her childhood to feel that power over Jen.
But that's not okay.
It's 100% not okay. She was being fully dysfunctional and toxic. Like she absolutely was not behaving in any way, shape, or form that was okay. Absolutely not. I lost my train of thought, but my point was that like I never thought that it was she did make it seem like it was about I see what you're saying. Yeah, it definitely seemed like I never thought it was about the money, but she was making it seem like it was. So I can absolutely see why Jen thought that, but then Emily was like, "Oh God, no." When Emily said that she feels bad, Emily ended with like, "Now I feel like an asshole." And according to my therapist, she would probably categorize that as healthy shame. Which is good because it might keep you from acting that way again in the future. If you do your work and you're conscious of your behavior, Emily was a dick. And for her to live for a little while with the feelings of what it's like to be a dick is okay. And so I think what we saw was healthy shame. And I was there for it. I was real happy about it. Therapy.
Yeah. And then they hugged it out. And I believed that they actually were past this.
I agree.
Then we go to Tamra, Shannon, and Vicky, and Vicky brings up the Tres Amigas falling out because of Tamra's issues with Shannon's drinking and also liking a post from Alexis Bellino that said friendships forming or some such thing.
Fuck?
And then Tamra's like, oh, what? I don't know what hashtags are. I didn't read that. I didn't see that. It's like, oh my God, you're so embarrassing. Like the level of, anyways, Shannon is sort of weeping, saying she doesn't want anything to do with Alexis Bellino. And Tamra lies. Again, I just don't know how she does this, but she says Alexis is constantly saying how she doesn't want to hurt Shannon. I'm like, the last episode was titled The Gloves Are Off and all Alexis does is humiliate and embarrass and call out Shannon. What do you mean she doesn't want to hurt her? It's her whole personality this season. She's just taunting her and daring her and rubbing John Jansen in her face every chance she gets. It's so weird.
I don't ever want to hear the word rubbing and John Jansen
Sorry about
in
that.
the same sentence again in my life.
Fair.
Gross.
And then we're on to Katie, Gina, and Heather. Did you have anything about?
I absolutely do not. It was just a bullshit tour. It was just a bullshit tour.
That's the way to put it.
Yeah.
Then we are with Katie, Gina, and Heather, and they're talking about these videos that John Jansen and Alexis are threatening to release, and they all decide that no one will tell Shannon that these things exist or are under threat of coming out, which I just think is crazy.
Oh my God, dude.
And then Gina says, and I apologize, but I'm going to beat my same drum. Gina says Shannon is responsible for what she did on those videos, but she has kids. And I was just like, you can extend compassion even to people who don't have kids. Like, yes, there are maybe more people that are harmed, but like, can we just fucking, you're just not.
Not on this podcast.
I'm just
not on this podcast, Gina.
It's also, you can extend compassion to people.
Compassion doesn't have to be qualified or quantified.
By children. Like you don't have to only think about how this would affect someone if they have kids.
Right.
Like you could also consider any human being's experience. And I would, venture to guess that this would harm Shannon with or without kids. So
yeah.
There's that.
For sure.
Then we're back to Shannon, Tamra, and Vicky. And Tamra claims it's hard to be in the middle of this fight between Alexis and Shannon. And I'm like, well, then get out of the middle. Like, shut up and butt out. Nobody asked you. Because Shannon is saying she's trying to move on, but it's hard enough with Alexis being thrown in her face. And now this lawsuit is like insult to injury.
Also, like, I'm trying not to stay in the middle, but by the way, let me wear this T-shirt over 2 episodes of this fakakta show that say T&A, hashtag, I don't know what a hashtag is, hashtag Tamra and Alexis. I got the ass, I got the titties. Fuck all the way off. Why do you think we don't see you? She is...
And she's just diabolical because here she like inappropriately inserts herself and she goes, can I give you some advice? And she says, they, meaning John and Alexis, just want you to clear his name. And Shannon, cries. She's like, no, I'm not going to start lying to, reconcile this now. But, I harp on this too. It's like, you can't do that. You can't give this advice without giving the whole picture. You need to say they want you to clear his name or they're going to release these tapes. Then Shannon can have her actual honest reaction. But you're allowing her to deliver an uninformed opinion on camera because you're withholding a key piece of information, the piece of information, dare I say, So like, it's just so mean. It's so manipulative. It's so cruel. Tamra has more information than she's giving Shannon, and she's letting Shannon have this meltdown. I don't know. It just was so unpleasant.
For sport.
Exactly.
For sport.
That's it.
For entertainment, for shits and giggles. She doesn't care about anybody but herself.
She's a monster.
She is truly
unmitigated monster.
Pure, uncut.
And then sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
Mm-mm. Brief moment where Vicky brings it back to the Trace Amigas
and
says she wants to be back in action again, and they hug. And then Tamra has her talking head where she's like, no, I'm not ever joining that show again. And then they do their stupid dance and like, who cares? Then the rest of this episode, it was a big who cares for me. It's like questionnaires, Tamra gets murdered, box of names and crickets. In
Just
memoriam Tres Amigas, Teddi pushes Tamra in the pool, Heather's the traitor, and I'm bored.
yeah, and Vicky, I mean, obviously, I think everyone and their mother thought that like the fucking fall in the pool was definitely staged. Like that was not an authentic push.
Oh.
And Vicky did say on her podcast that I cannot believe I listened to it for 5 minutes, but like I just wanted like the BTS, the behind the scenes, not BTS, whatever BTS means now. Hashtag I don't know her. Anyway, my point is apparently it was a fountain. It's like a fountain, not like a legit pool. It's like more like a fountain that she got pushed
Oh.
into. I don't know if anyone really bought that she got. I was like, oh, this is staged. When Tamra is when they're going through the survey and they're like, who here is who's the biggest traitor? Right.
Gotcha.
And Tamra's like, everyone's like, Tamra. And she's like, what can I say? I'm a truth teller. It's like, no, you're not a fucking truth teller. But that's what she tells herself. She's one of those idiots that's like, well, I call it like it is. No, you're just a dick. You're not a call it like it is. No, you're not a truth teller. You are a manipulative, conniving little piece of shit. That is what you are. Wear it with pride, Judge. Do it.
It's that hero victim mentality.
God.
It's like there can be no other role assigned. She's either a hero for telling the truth or a victim because people don't understand her. So,
Oh,
okay.
God. Spare
if you say
me.
so. Yeah.
Sophia, if you ever listen to this podcast, I really, really, really want to know who your mom is for real. Like, you know what? That's not Sophia's fucking responsibility to tell me. I would just like to know what other people see that I don't see. Because I don't see anything. I don't see any redeeming qualities in this woman at all. Except for when it comes to her children. Okay, fine. There you go. To two of her kids. I don't know about the other one.
I mean, she's there. That's
Sophia seems to like her.
yeah. She just, she seems to prioritize reality TV. So I think that
She
makes her
does.
untrustworthy. So
For sure. For sure. Nope, not a fan. Not a fucking fan. I thought it was hilarious that Katie, like when Heather's revealed to be the murderer. The murderer, right?
The traitor.
The traitor.
Whatever.
That she's like, oh, that's fitting, Oh, I bet Heather just got a big old kick out of being the one that was the traitor. Add it to your IMDb. Maybe I will.
So annoying. She's
So
just
annoying. And that wasn't romance novel hair. It was too flat. What else did you watch this week, friend? Unless you want to talk about this episode again.
No,
or
I'm
more.
done. Once
Okay,
the
yeah.
traitor rules and gameplay started, I was like, bye.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of sports. College football is back. Sorry about it.
Yes. No,
Michigan's
I've
going to have
thought
a
of you
challenging
many
year, so I
times.
won't talk about it as much. But we do have a quarterback named RHOC, which is hilarious. I watched college football. I watched the U.S. Open. And then, speaking of like family trauma and like what you become on the other side of that, there's a series on Netflix called Untold. And it's all sports stories. And there was one about the Michigan sign stealing scandal. So I watched that, which was very interesting. But then it rolled into one about Jake Paul, who's like, exactly. But again, a sports documentary will I'm not saying he's a good guy, but you learn a lot about, basically, he had an abusive father who never acknowledged he abused him or apologized for it. And his whole life has been driven from that place. So again, therapy could have intervened at any time and given this kid some level of stability, but he and his brother have relied on each other. And like, it's just interesting to see like the extremes people will go to heal their trauma, because either therapy is stigmatized or they don't know that they could benefit from it or what. So anyways, that series Untold is outstanding on Netflix.
Okay.
Really, really great. So I'm not saying I'm not a Jake Paul apologist at all. I'm just saying the story is really fascinating.
Okay. I can't stand those brothers. I find them to be like
They are.
the scourge. They're like mold on society, the
But
rind
you
of
understand
society.
why they wanted to leave Ohio at age 17, and they're idiots. This town gave them a shit ton of money.
All the fucking money in the world. And I'm sure somebody has said, go. Like therapy is like everywhere in Los Angeles. Like,
Right. I mean,
and
but yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I wish they would, but I don't know. Yeah.
oh,
Anyways, it's just interesting.
I
But
hear you. I get it. I get
that
it.
whole series is really good. If you're
Okay.
interested in behind the scenes sports
I
stories,
always
like
am.
the Michigan sign stealing one is a fucking bummer, but it's good.
Okay. Okay.
Anyways, that's pretty much what I watched. What did you watch?
We're quasi Emmy prepping right now. So, like,
Oh,
I watched all of season 1 of The Bear, I think a little bit after it came out, but I couldn't handle it. Like, I couldn't handle the fucking stress. So, like, I didn't on purpose. I did not watch season 2. And obviously, season 3 is the one that's nominated. So, started watching season 2 of The Bear. Can only do like one episode at a time. And I think, yeah, so far it hasn't made me like need a Xanax. So that's good. And then also, The Only Murders in the Building. This was another show that I resisted for years because it just looked like this bullshit, whimsical, like, ha ha, we live in a beautiful building in New York and look at our cute clothes. And, this is just a little snapshot of whatever. I just had like a lot of preconceived notions. I didn't realize that it had poignancy and nuance and things that could be relatable. And I really think it's charming and adorable. And I like that the episodes are short. So we'll see. But the main thing is fucking Summer House, man. I'm about to start the season finale of episode 5 or season 5, which is COVID summer. So they've been stuck in that house for 6 weeks. Carl has lost his brother in the most horrific of ways. He's been sober. We've seen him be happy and thrive. And now I've seen him, like, hey, who can drink a Guinness in 3 seconds? On your mark, get set, go. Just seeing his palpable pain is really so crushing. And wow, Luke sure did turn out to be a disappointment to me. And I'm sure to many others that found him real pretty and charming. And damn it, Hannah could use some therapy. I don't know where she's at now with her life. I know she has a Netflix special out. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch all of her seasons that she's on Summer House first, and then I'll watch it. I don't know. It's so fucking good. I love Summer House so much. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm so glad I have season 6 and 7. I like that my gateway was season 8 because it made watching up to these 5 seasons like so interesting. But COVID is too close in my rearview mirror to watch it on TV and not get itchy. It's really like, oh God, like they were like in masks, like there was no shot yet, Anyway. And yeah, Lindsay's really hard for me to watch. She's just a fucking case study in unresolved generational trauma. I love it. I love that show. I love that fucking show.
yeah.
Summer House.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Anyway, and what was your antidepressant this week, friend?
My antidepressant, there were a couple this week, but the one that like pertains most to this show is on September 1st. I marked 24 years of recovery from an eating disorder.
Oh my God, Margee.
24 years.
24.
And
congratulations.
yeah. And it's, like we used to go to a meeting where in the format it would say that like abstinence from whatever your destructive food behaviors are is a freedom. Abstinence is a freedom, not a food plan.
Mm-hmm.
And over 24 years, I was just thinking back, I'm like, that's really been my experience. And like the promise of the program is that the obsession will be lifted. Like, obviously, I still have thoughts about food and my body and things like that. I mention them on this podcast all the time, but they don't drive my decision making. I have a life first, like those things are like in the deep background in the mix now, they're still in the mix, but they're like faint, if even audible anymore. And like, yeah, I'm super grateful for 24 years of not, of relief from that. And it took me, I've been in that 12-step room for 26 years. So it took me a really painful 2 years of like agonizing, knowing that what I was doing wasn't working and being absolutely unable to stop. But I just kept going to meetings and I don't know what the magic is when it happened or why the timing was what it was. But like, If it's helpful to anyone who's struggling in or outside of those rooms, it does seem to help just to like keep going back. So I'll keep going
Wow.
back.
Congratulations.
Hey, I didn't do anything.
So
I
proud of
literally
you.
just, they say the
You
only thing you could do perfectly is keep coming back. And
you
that's
have
all I
worked
did.
you have worked your ass off.
Yeah. But,
To live by the principles.
truth. That's very true. And I love a life guided by those principles.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so much better than a life guided by like how many miles I ran,
Oh my
how many
God.
calories
How
I
many calories
consumed,
I
how many
ate, how many
pounds are on the scale.
carbs.
Oh, it's so fucking boring, but it's all I
Jesus.
cared about. It is all I cared
I know.
about. It's all I cared about.
Yeah.
So grateful
Yeah.
to have other things driving my life these days.
Yeah.
What was your antidepressant?
Last week after we were done recording, I pretty much I went upstairs, I got in bed and didn't come out for 3 days because I think I was affected by that listeria outbreak. I had an Italian deli sandwich at the airport when we left San Diego, and it was not good. I thought I was going to have to go to urgent care because on top of the GI issues I experienced, the nausea, my bones and my joints hurt so bad. I was like, it hurts to have this blanket on me. I know it's not shingles because I don't have any of the blisters or whatever, but I took probably 6 COVID tests over the course of 3 days, like one in the morning, one at night. I thought for sure I've got COVID. After I was out of the worst of it, my friend she told me that there have been just a ton of articles about the listeria outbreak. And it sounds like what you had, Ramona. And I was like, holy shit, I think I did. Yeah, I had 2 deli meat sandwiches. Although
This doesn't sound like an antidepressant at all.
Oh,
this
but
just
my
sounds
point,
like a diarrhea
oh my
fest.
God, I'm sorry. Yes. But my point is I'm very grateful to have my health back.
Oh.
Because it passed. It passed. Oh, fuck. See? That's exactly what I did. I just fully fucking Alexis Blino'd right now.
No, you didn't. What are you talking about?
Because you asked me what my antidepressant was, and instead of saying I drink coffee, I was
right.
well, the backstory is because if I had just been like, Margee, my antidepressant is that I have my health. Like, yeah, okay, sure. But
it makes sense. The backstory paid off. It's not like it went nowhere. It wasn't a walk to nowhere. It was a walk that landed. That's everything.
I'm grateful. Yes.
Well is everything.
I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful that my mom flew into town today. She's going to be here for a week. Shit's still feeling really, it's a sad time. It's a sad, hard time. So my antidepressant is really just hunkering down with my little family, and my kid loves his new school, and I am no longer wearing out a path in the carpet between me and the bathroom, thanks to some boar's head that may not have been tainted. Tainted ass boar's head, man.
Fucking airport food is just, it's always high risk.
And this little shop is associated with a nicer restaurant in San Diego, which is why I was like, oh, they have a little outpost here. Sure, I'll get something to eat.
It's life.
I know. What are you going to do?
If you're so careful, then you'll just wind up eating combos for the rest of your life for every travel meal. So.
Or, yeah, no thanks. Yeah, talk about freedom. It's there was a time when I would not have been able to go to an airport and just trust they would have something there that I could eat. Lest it be ooh, gluten, fat, meat, dairy, what the fuck ever. It's not organic. I don't know, but just put some,
I used to freak out if I couldn't work out on a travel day.
Oh my God.
It's Jesus Christ, just get somewhere and have a time there. But
I know. I hear you. Oh, well, friend, it was really good to see you and to discuss this episode with you. And everybody, we hope that you enjoyed it. And you can always drop us a line at atherapeuticdose@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram at A Therapeutic Dose. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Pass it on. Yeah. Have a good week. Stay away from some boar's head. Deli meat sandwiches. Just make sure you ask, where's this deli meat from? Drink your water. Be nice to yourself.
Yeah, take good care of yourselves.
Take good care of yourselves.
We'll talk next week.
And we'll talk next week. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Ramona and Margee are, obviously, not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.